Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you and to share the news with you. And, folks, I just read something rather alarming dealing with Pete Hegseth. We're going to get into that here in just a second. But do me a favor, please smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from. I always love seeing who's on the stream. Cindy D from Arizona, good to see you on. Arctic Fox, Lou, Ron, all of you. Agent Orange, thanks for being on, modding for me this morning. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat here. But I asked the question, how many of you like Pete Hegseth? And I'm getting, typically good responses. Some people aren't really sure. So here's the question I have for you fine folks. Do you like Pete Hegseth? What are your thoughts on Pete Hegseth? We're going to get into this news story. But according to the Washington Times, there's a big shakeup going on at the Pentagon. I do want to mention my sponsor really quickly, folks, and that's MyPillow. MyPillow.com/lumberjack. Save up to 66% or call 1-800-568-2865 right now. Free shipping going on at MyPillow.com. All right, so let's check it out. Let's get into it. He lost us. Generals and senior officers say trust in Hegseth has evaporated. That's right. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is ordering troops to do all kinds of things. And according to the top brass in the military, he is off mission. That's what they're saying. Secretary's critics worry Pentagon at risk of enduring damage among firings, resignation, and early retirements from high-ranking staff. So, are you guys concerned about this? We have some big concerns going on over there, and I'm wondering, folks. He did this speech on September 30th, and if you'll remember, he asked them to be able to do push-ups. Now, folks, do you think people like this can knock out all those push-ups? Do you think there might be something more to this story? The thing I like about Mark Milley is at least he wore a camo mask. I can't even see it. Where's his mask? Okay. Or wait, do you think these people might have been upset at Pete Hegseth? Do you think they might be some of the people who are openly upset and saying that he has gone too far and that he's lost them? Do you think Pete ever had these people? This was a collection of guys who identify as gals in the military. Oh, wait, what about this lady? The first openly lesbian, homosexual gal, general, and here she is, okay, in the military. Do you think, folks, or what about this one? Do you think he ever had Lloyd Austin, or had he lost Lloyd Austin from the start? Lloyd was a true believer. He had the shield and the mask. Or, folks, what about this one? That's right. This is how we celebrated the 4th of July in the military before Pete Hegseth. I will have you know that this dude had a tough path. We're going to get into that. Okay. Obviously, folks, my title, my thumbnail, was designed to potentially capture some more on the left-leaning side and have to get them to maybe question some of these types of things. This is not normal. This is not normal, Faith in His Grace said. No, you're right. It is not. Actually, let's get back to this because let's see who's so upset. Listen to this. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has lost the trust and respect of some of the top military commanders with his public grandstanding, widely seen as unprofessional, and the personal moves made by the former cable TV host, leading to an unprecedented and dangerous exodus of talent from the Pentagon, said current senior military officers and current former Defense Department officials. Folks, it would be absolutely terrible if this person left the military. I think we would have a serious deficit of talent. Don't you? I mean, how many of you feel, just answer this in the chat, how many of you would be sad if this person left the military? Do you think that they're adding a lot? I mean, do you think this? So this is, well, I don't know what the deal is with this person. they're interesting. Okay. Back to this piece. He's lost them, though, folks. Numerous high-ranking officers painted Mr. Hegseth's September 30th speech to hundreds of generals and admirals gathered at Marine Corps Base Quantico in Virginia as a turning point in how his leadership style, attitude, and overall competency are viewed in the upper echelons of the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a massive waste of our time. If he ever had us, he lost us, one current Army general told the Washington Times. Unnamed general, by the way. If he ever had us, he lost us. So maybe he never had them to begin with. Okay, and I think it's interesting that they're so upset that they might have to do a few push-ups. This reminds me of like, so I don't know if you guys have ever worked at a company where the company was really dysfunctional and a new boss comes in. And that new boss sets standards and says, we're going to have to abide by these standards because the company is losing money. It's unprofitable. So Pete Hegseth comes into the military and says, we don't have a warrior ethos here. We don't have a good war fighting spirit. We have people who can't even do the required pull-ups or push-ups. So we're changing everything. And what happens when that new boss comes in, folks? Anyone answer this in the chat. Is the new boss immediately popular amongst the people who have been getting away with these things all this time? You know, the ones that are, just eating donuts at their desk. Are they excited about the new boss? Yes or no? Yes or no in the chat. I mean, come on. This is an easy question to answer. Again, please smash that like if you could. Help get this stream out there. Hey, folks, this is the most unserious and unshocking article. Okay. The Quantico speech, described by other sources as embarrassing and theatrical to a degree that it is below our institution, seemed to crystallize beliefs about Mr. Hegseth that had taken root among some senior officers, including the view that the secretary operates with a junior officer's mentality that has led him to micromanage policies about issues such as military facial hair standards and press access to the Pentagon, sometimes at the expense of the much broader portfolio of a typical defense secretary. Interesting. So it's below the institution, folks. I'll show you what I think is below the institution. I think this is below the institution. Okay. I mean, are you more concerned with this picture I'm showing you here being potentially below our institution, or Pete Hegseth actually requiring the uniform military dress code, facial hair standards, the ability to do pull-ups, push-ups, and so on, and not changing standards if you're a dude who says he's a woman, not changing standards if you're a woman who says she's a woman, not changing standards if you're a woman who says she's a man. See, why is this causing such a big rift at the Pentagon? I mean, I would think this would be more of an affront to our military. I've never gotten over this picture, folks. I've never gotten over it. Okay, back to this. Don't worry, it gets better. Mainly what I see from him are not serious things, a current senior officer said. It's, why did this service member tweet this? Or internal politics and drama. That's mostly what I see. Do you know what's interesting about this? Do you know one of the quickest ways to bring down any institution? I don't care if it's a church, if it's a company, if it's, any sort of organization. It could be a nonprofit, anything. Do you know what the quickest way? I'm curious if you guys have this in the chat. Do you know what one of the quickest ways to bring those organizations down, either to eliminate them or to make them ineffective? What is one of the quickest ways to destroy an institution, a company, anything like that? What's one of the quickest ways? This is something that most of us are guilty of. So I'm curious if y'all get it. It's actually something that is warned about extensively in the Bible. Extensively. Funds, not funds. What do we got here? Hire morons. Hire morons. Dumbing them down. Actually, folks, and this is why I'm going to go back to this article really quick here. Mainly what I see from him are not serious things, a current senior officer said. It's why did this service member tweet this or internal politics and drama? That's mostly what I see. That statement will give you, there it is. Crazy cat lady got it. Where is it? Gossip and division. 100% gossip and division. So these people are like, oh, that's unserious. JM got it too, probably right around the same time. Gossip. This is what brings them down. So Pete Hegseth is taking on the gossip culture at the Pentagon, which is good. And they're acting like it's this terrible thing. Hey, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and take a moment to smash that like quick. But yeah, share it out. This is, I'm telling you, folks, this is bigger than people are thinking in terms of the whole issue of gossip. And Pete Hegseth taking that on is a good thing. Okay. Mr. Hegseth clearly does not care about such criticism, and that's why we like him. At Quantico, he told any officer who disagreed with his priorities and laser-like focus on a return to what he calls the military's warrior ethos to resign. He told him he doesn't care. And they're all running around and they're talking to people like NPR, in this case, the Washington Times, and saying, oh no, this is so bad. Pete Hegseth is bad. Some analysts are quick to point out that military recruiting has surged since Mr. Hegseth took his post earlier this year. Supporters cite that as clear evidence that Mr. Hegseth's approach is resonating with at least a subsection of young Americans and in the process is strengthening the armed forces. Separately, some defense industry sources stress that the Pentagon under Hegseth's leadership is driving the development and fielding of smaller tactical drones in huge numbers, among other successes. High-level sources said that they believe Mr. Hegseth is simultaneously doing deep damage to the military. So isn't this interesting? So you have the new recruits. Again, this goes back to my company analogy where you have the people slacking and the new boss comes in. But the young people who are excited about the mission of the United States military and the Department of War come in, and they are coming in record numbers. Meanwhile, these people who have been there for a while, many of them are sitting there complaining because they have to do push-ups. Okay. He's doing deep damage to the military, both from a public relations standpoint and structurally behind the scenes. That may not be fully apparent until months or even years from now. So see, this gives them the chance to blame whatever happens in the future on Pete Hegseth. You do see that, right? In that statement, they're giving the chance to then further criticize him in the future. Now, let me ask you a question. Okay, we're talking about this. I mean, we've got the drone initiatives, we've got the young people being inspired, all of this. Okay, they talk about him doing a deep damage from a public relations standpoint. Pete Hegseth is doing deep damage from a public relations standpoint. So for those of you in my audience, do you feel better or worse about the military now than you did under Joe Biden? Okay. So again, and I want to remind you, this is what we were seeing. Okay. Under the Biden regime. Okay. The camel mask. What? He's not even wearing a mask. What happened to part of his face? It's just like part of the face just disappeared. It's like it doesn't even exist here. Okay. Better by far. Better by far. Look at all these comments. Spotsylvania, Virginia. I didn't even know the town Spotsylvania, Jessica. Thanks for chiming in there. Yeah, please do chime in with where you're from. Like, nobody thinks it's better now, or worse now is what I'm saying. Everybody thinks it's better. Military is way better now. And yet there are people at the Pentagon running around saying this crap. Okay, this is why it's important that Hegseth looks at what people tweet and asks them about it. Okay. The way Mr. Hegseth's insistent that the Pentagon will embrace a color. Listen to this. They say Mr. Hegseth's insistence that the Pentagon will embrace a color and gender blind meritocracy is at odds with the reality inside of the Defense Department, which President Trump has given the secondary title War Department. This is interesting to me because the Washington Times is supposed to be a more conservative publication. And they just called it the Defense Department, and Trump has given it the secondary title War Department. I think we're just calling it the War Department now. I think that's the primary title. But listen to this. The insistence that the Pentagon will embrace a color and gender blind meritocracy is at odds with the reality inside the. They argue that the firings, early retirements, and resignations that have amassed over the past 8 months will fundamentally weaken the military. Across the services, we are bleeding talent. Folks, they're bleeding talent. I'm telling you, the military right now is bleeding talent. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull this article for a second because I'm going to take you to something else. Okay? You'll find this one to be very fascinating. Okay? All right. Here we go. This out of NPR. That's right, your national public radio, folks, that was taking your tax dollars. And the Democrats are holding a government shutdown right now over this. Okay? Because they want NPR to get their money back, right? I thought NPR was public because it was funded by people who just believed in it, okay? Hegseth orders troops to watch his speech decrying a woke military. And they put it in quotes. I love this. This is NPR. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is ordering troops to watch or read his speech last month at Quantico, Virginia, when he declared the woke military is gone, decried fat generals, no wonder they're all upset with him, and ordered women in the military to meet the highest male standards for physical fitness. A Defense Department memo obtained by NPR calls for service members to complete the warrior ethos tasking, which includes a link to the video and updated policy memorandums by the end of the month. The policy memorandums lay out in detail his plans to enhance physical fitness, grooming standards, and military readiness. The NPR is really upset about this. Do you know, folks? Let me ask you a question. How many of you know women who could compete and actually uphold the male standards for physical fitness? And I'm not saying this to be mean. I actually know of a gal. So the gym I go to, Steel Fitness in Hibbing, one of the personal trainers there, her name is Katie. She could do it. She could totally do it. She could meet the male standard. She can bench press almost 200. She's incredibly strong. I mean, she does the one-legged pistol squats, all of it. She could meet the male standards. Okay. So I'm not saying that no woman can do this. Okay. Della Toledo says 0. I'll be frank. It's rare. Okay. She is a very, very strong woman. Dudes and dresses are below our institution. Okay. Yeah. So what did they write when Obama purged the leadership? Well, he got rid of the hardliners, folks. That's what he did. Okay. Kathy did it. Kathy, congratulations. Yeah, it is not easy, Kathy. And now those aren't the same standards. Like, so Katie at my gym, she could pass the male standards. I mean, just incredibly strong. Okay. But seriously, I don't see a lot. I don't see a lot of you commenting on this, but I'm curious how many of you believe you know some gals who could pass those standards. Okay. A Defense Department memo. Okay. Grooming standards military. The memo states all commanders must document the completion of the warrior ethos tasking in a memorandum for record. When asked for comment, a Defense Department official not authorized to speak publicly said by email, the secretary's speech was for the whole force, and this memo just reinforces that guidance. Well said. Hegseth spoke on September 30th to hundreds of generals and admirals who were ordered from commands all around the world to an auditorium at the Marine base Quantico. And look at this. It's unprecedented, folks. It's unprecedented. Right here. Defense Secretary speaks to senior military at the Marine Corps base. In an unprecedented gathering, almost 800 generals, admirals, and their senior enlisted leaders have been ordered into one location from around the world on short notice. Oh, heaven forbid. Every general sits there and expects every troop to follow their orders, even when they're stupid. Seriously. How many of you have ever watched the movie Gettysburg? How many of you watched the movie Gettysburg? Curious, yes or no in the chat. Or understand Gettysburg, Pickett's charge, and what went on there that day. Here's another little known fact on Gettysburg. The Union, because it's considered a win for the Union, actually had more casualties than the South. How many of you knew that? Because you hear that Gettysburg was this great turning point in the war, and it was a Union victory. But they had more casualties. Okay, so a lot of you have heard this. So if you don't understand, what happened at Gettysburg that day was General Lee, I think he was an honorable man. He had a lot of good qualities to him. This is going to trip liberals up big time, but he did. So did generals on the Union side, and General Hancock was there that day, and he went on to do amazing things. There was the guy who held the Union flank on the left side, Colonel, can't remember his name right now, but General Pickett had to lead the charge across the open field. And if you ever go visit Gettysburg, it was a suicide charge. They start marching across this field, and General Lee ordered it. Longstreet didn't want to do it, but at the end of the day, what did Longstreet do? He followed the orders. Okay. Aisle paint. I want to comment on this. I don't trust Hollywood's version of anything. Aisle paint. This is based off the book, The Killer Angels. It's very well done. It's actually very accurate. You can go back and I recommend reading the books. It's Gods and Generals, The Killer Angels, and The Last Full Measure. Phenomenal books. I recommend reading them. They're great. But I just say this because, the NPR acts like this is such a big deal. Oh no, he ordered them to do this. Oh no, Okay, walking back and forth. Listen to this. Era of Defense Department is over. Walking back and forth on stage with a massive American flag as a backdrop, Hegseth declared, "Today we end the war on warriors." He said the era of the Defense Department is over, said the new name will be the Department of War, and indicated the Pentagon would shift to a more aggressive culture. Hegseth, a 45-year-old Army National Guard veteran and former Fox News host, said the U.S. military has promoted too many leaders for the wrong reasons, based on race, gender quota, and historic first. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. It's no wonder he's lost them, folks. It's no wonder. This dude, he's a first, but he's really... the day this happened, I want to show you just how nuts this is. Okay. This is this person. Okay. The day, this was July 2nd, 2023. Okay. I'm going to pull in the tweet from the Department of War. All right. U.S. Army Major Rachel Jones. Okay, folks, come on. Help me out. Does this look like a Rachel to you? Yes or no? Is this a Rachel? Is this a Rachel? Okay. Yes or no? Because this is Rachel Jones. Wait till you hear. Okay, go back to the tweet here. Look at this. They tweeted this that day. Major Rachel Jones found solace after coming out as I'm not even going to say it because it's not even a real word, female. Her journey from battling depression and his journey from battling depression and suicidal thoughts to embracing authenticity inspires us all. Jones faced deep-rooted challenges on her path to self-acceptance in a world where whatever this alphabet soup voices were often marginalized. I'm going to correct the typos, battled depression and contemplated suicide. Today, his resilience shines as a hope for others facing similar struggles. This was tweeted by our Department of Defense. Now, look at this. Look at the responses. For every stunning and brave dude that pretends to be a lady, you have 100 vets with PTSD. How about you get some perspective and do your job? So you are allowing the mentally ill to remain in the military now. Good to know that the suicidal fat slump is the new standard for military recruitment. How about focusing on combat readiness? All this is back in 2023. And now, folks, what is Pete doing? Combat readiness. It's beautiful. Okay? It is absolutely nuts to me that this is the world that our military had dove into. Here's how America's rainbow military commemorated this 4th of July weekend. There's that dude again. The U.S. military issued a series of social media posts commemorating LGBT-themed diversity. On the same weekend, millions of Americans came together to celebrate the nation's founding. This is the Major Rachel Jones, who identifies as transgender female, the self-acceptance, okay? In the attached article, which was published on the Army's official website, Jones described the process of accepting and loving himself and further claimed it was risky to his career to be seen in public as a trans woman during the Trump administration, when this word again, identifying individuals were not permitted to openly serve in the military. You got to watch words, folks. Don't give them to them. Upon taking office, Biden signed an executive order reversing the policy, which allowed Jones to come out publicly to his colleagues. People here have been amazing. I know how lucky I am to work in an organization with such acceptance. And everyone here has been really supportive, Jones said. I was initially a bit fearful of coming out as my true self and how I would be perceived, but I had nothing to worry about. To commemorate a whole month, right, folks? They get a whole month. Jones also recorded a video claiming that for him, pride is about celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army. Folks, what is original sin? It is when Satan tried to set himself up as a god. Pride was the problem. And they run around. I mean, it's very telling that that's the word that they use. Again, please go check out my sponsor, MyPillow. Free shipping right now on your entire order. Towels are in stock still. There's towels there available. They will sell out of these. They always do. $39.98 with if you go to mypillow.com/lumberjack or call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. The slippers, folks, you will love these. One of the great products he made. Got a memory foam base. They have a sole on here so I can walk out, turn on my generator in the winter. It's beautiful. The mattress topper, the premium pillows, the percale sheets, still $29.88. But I always tell people, if you want to get some sheets for yourself, get these Giza sheets. They will change your life. I'm serious. Get Giza sheets. Really. You get them. They're amazing. And I love the Rev 7 energy drink. So go support Mike. He's still facing lawfare at epic levels. But this is what we've been dealing with in the military. Pete comes along and he changes this. And then they say, he's lost us? No, he never had you. I mean, if this is your kind of crap you're doing, he never had you. You were never part of his thinking. A similar incident exemplifying the military's increased focus on so-called diversity occurred on Friday and Sunday when the U.S. Navy posted two separate Instagram clips highlighting the importance of removing alleged barriers for alphabet service members, total inclusion in the fleet. It's a necessary effort to make sure that the chief of naval operation and our operational commanders are getting the very best from the 6 to 8 to 10% of our force that identifies as LGBTQ+, said Rear Admiral Mike Brown in the Friday clip. When asked in the second video what it means to have a diverse force, Brown further claimed it's important for the Navy to be inclusive of all parts of the American population. Folks, 6 to 8 to 10%. That's beyond the numbers in regular society. So that's what's been going on in our military. They're all hiding out in the military. Is this for real? What do you think, folks? Do you want the war? Do you want the military right now focus more on the warrior ethos or celebrating diversity and making sure that everybody's represented? Because I really don't care if everybody's represented. Quite frankly, I don't. I want our guys to be able to, and gals, to be able to kick butt, take names, win. There's a Department of War. In war, it's not nice business. It's not like pleasant. Oh, well, but you know what is nice? When you go in and win. Do you know why? Because if you win, you actually reduce casualties, not only for your side, but for the other side. Because as the war drags on, more people are brought into it. Look at Ukraine. Look at what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. The longer that thing drags on, the more people die. Ukraine has lost a whole generation of young men. It's pathetic. And so I am more concerned by far with the military that can go in and do the job that's necessary. Not that the 6 to 8 to 10%. I mean, what a crazy number. I mean, my gosh. Come on. This woke crap is dead. I mean, I showed you the graph the other day. Even the youth, it has just taken a nosedive. Okay. Anyhow, this is just greater winning. Hegseth didn't go too far. Maybe you could make the case that he hasn't gone far enough. Yes, we're going to get our culture back, Jams Varno. 100%. It's happening right now. Thank you for that super chat too, by the way. That was the goal, to lose losers and traitors. And a great comment. So, I mean, I am so excited about this. He lost us. He's gone too far. So the fat generals still want to be fat. The fat dudes that say they're ladies still want to be fat. No. This is not about inclusivity. It is about winning wars. Anyways, I love y'all. Keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you on the next episode. All right, folks. Go check out Mike Lindell, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Okay. And call the 800 number, actually, is the way you should do it. 1-800-568-2865. Get your Christmas gifts from people who actually like you. We'll see you on the next episode.